Namo Buddhaya, Namo Amitabha. Hello everyone. So today let's continue to look at the 10 great practices and vows of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, and we're up to the third great vow, to extensively cultivate making offerings. Okay, so first let's look at the sutra. Moreover, good men, to extensively cultivate making offerings is explained like this. Throughout the dharma realm and the realm of empty space, in each and every fine mote of dust within all Buddha lands in the 10 directions and 3 periods of time, there are Buddhas as numerous as all the fine motes of dust in all worlds. Each and every Buddha land is surrounded by various ocean-wide assemblies of bodhisattvas. I, by the power of Samantabhadra's practices and vows, bring forth profound faith and understanding, and I see and know them clearly. I make offerings to them all with superb and wondrous gifts. These offerings include clouds of flowers, clouds of garlands, clouds of heavenly music, clouds of heavenly parasols and canopies, clouds of heavenly robes and various heavenly perfumes, ointment incense, burning incense, powdered incense, each cloud as vast as Mount Sumeru. I burn all kinds of lamps, butter lamps, oil lamps, lamps of many fragrant oils. Each and every lampstand is as tall as Mount Sumeru. Each and every lamp's oil is as abundant as the water of the ocean. With such various gifts, I constantly make offerings. Good men, among all offerings, the gift of the Dharma is the most supreme, that is to say, the offering of cultivating as taught, the offering of benefiting all living beings, the offering of receiving and guiding living beings, the offering of taking on the suffering of living beings, the offering of diligently cultivating good roots, the offering of not forsaking the bodhisattva's deeds, and the offering of not losing bodhicitta. Good men, the immeasurable merit created by the foregoing offerings, when compared with the merit of a single thought of offering the Dharma, is not equal to 1 part in 100, 1 part in 1,000, 1 part in 100,000 kotis of nayutas, 1 part in a kala, 1 part in calculation, 1 part in a fraction, 1 part by metaphor, or 1 part in an Upanishad. None of those offerings can measure up to a single part. Why? Because all Tathagatas honor the Dharma, and it is by cultivating according to the teachings that all Buddhas are born. If all Bodhisattvas practice offering the Dharma, they perfect the practice of making offerings to all Tathagatas. Cultivating in this way is called the true offering. This vast and supreme offering will end only when the realm of empty space ends, when the realms of living beings end, when the karma of living beings ends, and when the afflictions of living beings end. Yet, because the realm of empty space up to living beings' afflictions can never end, this offering of mind will never end. It continues thought after thought without interruption. In the karma of body, speech, and mind, there is no weariness. So again, the sutra itself is quite extensive, and let's just grasp the general meaning of this vow. So remember, in the 6 parameters, we talk about giving, right? In the first of the 6 parameters, the 6 professions of the Bodhisattva practice, the first is giving. But here in this vow, it did not say giving, it says making offerings, to extensively cultivate making offerings. So what's the difference between giving and offering? I remember we talked about the 6 parameters are like the bachelor training for bodhisattvas, whereas the 10 great practices and vows are like postgraduate training. So it's another level up. So for the beginning, the Buddha first talks about giving to cultivate generosity. This helps us overcome our greed, our attachment to material possessions. And here, the Buddha did not talk about giving. Instead, the Buddha used the word to make offerings. So there's a difference. Albeit it can be a bit subtle yet profound. So what's the difference? When we talk about giving, there could be a bit of a condescension, maybe unconscious sense of condescension. I give it to you because I have more than you. So I donate some money to you. I'm better than you. I have more than you. So it could be a bit of this kind of attitude. Sometimes when we practice giving, when we are making a donation to others. But making offerings is entirely different. It's a very different attitude, because you are the Buddha, you are the Tathagata. I make offerings to you. I make offerings to all Buddhas. One makes offerings with respect, with reverence and humility, and also with the recognition of all beings, Buddha nature. So if you are doing the postgraduate training, next time when you practice giving, it's no longer giving. You should think, oh, actually I'm making offerings to the Buddha. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to make offerings. So this should be the kind of attitude when we make offerings, particularly to the three jewels, to the Sangha. Of course, here we should also extend this attitude to all sentient beings. When we give things to others, we can think of it as making offerings to all Buddhas, because all beings have the Buddha nature within. But of course, because we haven't cultivated the mind of equality, it can be a bit difficult for us to cultivate making offerings like this. But at least when we are making offerings to the three jewels, like to the temple, you really need to have this sense of respect and reverence. It's really like you are making offerings. It's not that the three jewels need your offering, need your donation, but we should really be grateful for them to give us the opportunity to make offerings. They actually don't need it. The reason why they don't need it is because Shakyamuni Buddha, before he entered Parinirvana, he already left enough blessings for the Sangha. They will never be starved to death or anything if they renounce to be a monk, a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, because they're enjoying the blessings of Shakyamuni Buddha. But it's also important for us to make offerings, with reverence, humility, and respect. Not only just make offerings, but to extensively cultivate making offerings. So why extensive? Because our true mind, our true nature is actually boundless, infinite. So to extensively cultivate making offerings resonate with our true nature. Okay, so let's quickly link the first three vows. So first, to pay homage and respect to all Buddhas, to acknowledge all beings Buddha nature from the mind. We respect the beings Buddha nature. And when it comes to the speech, we should praise the Tathagata, to praise all beings Buddha nature. And when it comes to how in our actions we can reflect our attitude from the mind and our speech, it is through to extensively cultivate making offerings. So the first vow is about the mind, the second is about the speech, and the third is about our actions. And there are three types of givings we discussed before. First is the giving of wealth or material possessions. In the sutra, it also describes all kinds of superb and various gifts. Bodhisattva Samantabhadra will make offerings to all Buddhas in the 10 directions. So these are the things we can also consider when we're making offerings to the three jewels. For instance, things like flowers, robes, incense, lamps, medicine, food, all kinds of things we can make offerings. And also, if you feel like you're lacking a bit of wealth in your life, maybe you're lacking money, what you should do, make money as offerings. This may sound a bit counterintuitive, but to make offerings is actually like investment. And the Buddha recommends two fields of investment. For worldly investment, Your parents are the best view because they give life to you, so you can make offerings to them. They're also the Buddha, future Buddhas. They also have the Buddha nature. For other worldly investment, the Buddha recommends the 3 jewels, like temples, monasteries, where there is the Sangha, and they're practicing and cultivating the Dharma. So you will gain great blessings if you make offerings to the 3 jewels. Also, you're not attached to or how much blessings you might get in return, but the law of karma will not fail you. If you're not attached, you gain infinite blessings. You'll have very good blessings. If you feel you're lacking wealth, try to give wealth as offerings. If you feel you're lacking wisdom, give wisdom as offering. If you feel you're lacking good health, then try to take care of others to save lives. This is called the fearless giving. So this can help you gain good health and long lifespan in return. So among the 3 types of offering, the offering of wealth, dharma, and fearlessness, the Buddha said the offering of dharma is the most supreme. From this sutra, it also says that. So why the offering of the Dharma is the most supreme? It tells us in the sutra, because all Tathagatas value the Dharma the most. It is because of the Dharma that all Buddhas are born. The Buddhas are born from the Dharma. Without the Dharma, we don't know the way to practice. We cannot really be awakened. That's why the offering of the Dharma is the most supreme. If all Bodhisattvas practice offering the Dharma, they perfect the practice of making offerings to all Tathagatas. Cultivating in this way is called the true offering. And what does the offering of Dharma mean? It does not just limit to sharing the Dharma. So in the sutra, it talks about the 6 aspects of making offerings of the Dharma. So what are the 6? First, the offering of cultivating as taught. So you cultivate, you practice as taught by the Buddha, by your Dharma teacher. So this is also considered as making offerings of the Dharma, to cultivate as taught. Second, the offering of benefiting all living beings. So try to help others through the Dharma. Through sharing the Dharma with others, you can also help benefiting living beings. Third, the offering of receiving and guiding living beings. For us to share the Dharma, to make Dharma as offerings, this can help us to guide living beings. Fourth, the offering of taking on the sufferings of living beings. So how can Bodhisattvas take on the sufferings of living beings? So the Bodhisattva sees all sentient beings are the same, like you and I are the same. You are me, I am you. So they have this kind of the mind of equality. So they feel that we are all connected, like we are all one. If you suffer, it's as if I'm suffering. So the Bodhisattva, they will always come back to our world and all other worlds to help save sentient beings. They can take up all kinds of identities to help save sentient beings, to share the Dharma with sentient beings. So for them to coming back to our world and other worlds continuously, it's like they're taking on the sufferings of living beings. So they see you're going through suffering, I will perform to go through the same suffering like you in order to help and save you. They actually don't have to come back to samsara, but it's really because of their compassion. They have this great compassion and vow to always help save sentient beings, to always benefit all living beings. So that's why they will always come back. And when they come back, it's like they're taking on the sufferings for us in order to help save us. It's really, really touching what the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can do for us. But for the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to keep coming back to our world, we'll never have the chance to hear the Dharma. If we don't hear the Dharma, we'll never have the chance to exit the cycle of reincarnation, to attain rebirth in Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land, and to realize Buddhahood. So it is really not easy. So you should also make the vow. When we have the ability, we will also help save sentient beings. Even if we don't have the ability yet, let's still take this Bodhisattva vow. Let's still generate the bodhicitta to always benefit all living beings. This is also the fastest way to help us overcome our ego, our little self, overcome our attachment to the self, and to help all sentient beings. The fifth is the offering of diligently cultivating good roots. So what does that mean? The Bodhisattvas were always diligently cultivating the dharma and various good deeds. By performing good deeds, studying and sharing the dharma and helping others, it can help us to develop the good roots. So diligence is an important trait, important practice in Bodhisattva. If you are a Bodhisattva, you have to be diligent. If you're not diligent, you cannot be a Bodhisattva. Because they made these great vows to help save sentient beings. If they're not diligent with their practice, then they cannot actually fulfill these great vows. So the last one is the offering of not forsaking the Bodhisattva's deeds and the offering of not losing bodhicitta. So all these vows are connected. A Bodhisattva will never forsake their Bodhisattva's deeds. Even if their physical bodies may get tired, their mind, their heart, their bodhicitta will not get tired. That's why at the end of each great vows, we all see the same paragraph. It's like, the vast and supreme offering will end only when the realm of empty space ends, when the realms of living beings end, when the karma of living beings ends, and when the afflictions of living beings end. Yet because the realm of empty space up to living beings' afflictions can never end, this offering of mine will never end. It continues thought after thought without interruption. In the karma of body, speech, and mind, there is no weariness. So that's the Bodhisattva's mindset. Their vows will never cease. That's what they think about, thought after thought. Every thought after thought, they're thinking about how I can best help benefit sentient beings. How can I help to liberate sentient beings? Their vows are just unstoppable. And so are their actions. The body, speech, and mind. In the karma of body, speech, and mind, they will never get tired. There is no weariness. That is the unstoppable spirit of the Bodhisattva. So I hope this is helpful. Namo Bodhisattva Samantabhadra. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amituofo.